Robin Bensley. Welcome to Chow Time. I'm always surprised when people tell me they've never had an artichoke in their life. I was really surprised when some guy told me, yeah, I tried them once and the leaves were so chewy and rough and everything. It was horrible. I just threw the whole thing away. Well, I grew up with eating artichokes because my father was a big fan. And so I want to just show you how we eat artichokes around here. It's a simple recipe, and it's not like stuffed artichokes or anything fancy. It's just the basic way, but you might learn a few good tips. An artichoke is actually a very ancient food. It was around in ancient Egypt and ancient Rome, and it's actually an unbloomed flower. If you were to let this go on this plant, it would blossom into this huge purple flower, which is quite beautiful. But personally, I'd rather eat them. So I'm just gonna make two tonight. And here's what I like to do. It's a member of the thistle family. So the top of it has these little thorns. So I always chop the top off. Okay, then right around the stem, there's all these kind of little miscellaneous leaves. I like to pick those off too. Kind of clean it up a little bit. Okay, then this stem, I want to trim the stem. But you know, the stem can be eaten too. So I take a little paring knife and I cut off the whole outside of the stem because that's just not edible. It's just really woody. There we go. So now I'll prep my second one. So my artichokes are all trimmed up nicely. And I always recommend steaming the artichokes rather than boiling them because I think when you boil them, it just sort of boils away some of the flavor. So I'm going to stick these in my steamer. Put the top on. Let them go for about 20 minutes. Now I'm going to make the dip for the artichoke. I have mayonnaise, about a half a cup's worth. I'm going to put in, a good 2 or 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. Mix that up. Now, traditionally, people will use melted butter or melted butter with lemon. But I like to use lemon mayonnaise because it's less drippy. Just neater. That's my thing. Here we go. Here's a great artichoke story. In New York City, there was a mafia guy. He was known as Whitey. He died in 1926. Well, all of the artichokes that were being imported to New York from California, which is where most of them grow in the United States, he bought all of them and then charged people 40% profit he made on what he charged people for artichokes. Well, the mayor of New York City was like, this isn't right. This is gouging the people. So I'm going to put a ban on artichokes. Well, that didn't last very long because the mayor of New York at the time loved artichokes. So they went back on the market. So you know they're done when you can take a big fork and you poke it into the artichoke and it's nice and soft. And the stem is nice and tender. Yeah, those are done. Now we serve it up. And then here's how I like to eat my artichokes. You see the little white part down at the end of the leaf? That's the good stuff. So you dip it in the lemon mayonnaise and you just scrape it off with your teeth. And I have to ask you, how many dorky people do you know that actually have an artichoke plate? That would be me. So you grab 2 or 3 leaves and you work your way through the artichoke. It's like playing with your food. I love this. And then when you start getting down to the end of the artichoke, you can take like a whole bunch of leaves, dip the ends in, Did you know that artichokes have one of the highest levels of antioxidants of any vegetable out there? That's nice to know. One more. Now you have the heart of the artichoke and the stem. So you pull out these little young leaves and you see this fibrous choke, it's called. Now my father would put the fear of God in us. Don't eat the choke, you'll die, you'll choke and you'll die, and, you know. So it was really scary to eat artichokes growing up. I'm going to take a little knife, I'm going to carve out the choke part. See, the choke is like, almost like hair. Okay, getting all that choke out. Okay. It's out. And you know what you're left with? It's like the prize in a box of Cracker Jacks. The artichoke heart and the stem is so good. And you dip it in there. It's wonderful. It was worth all the work. Here's something interesting. In the 1600s, only men were allowed to eat artichokes. Why is that? Because they thought it was such an aphrodisiac, they didn't want women to have them. So only men ate artichokes for a while. Doesn't that seem stupid? Wouldn't you think men would be like shoving artichokes down women's throats as an aphrodisiac? I mean, hey, Eric and I have artichokes every single night before bed.